Hello there and welcome to CoreTV News on Midday with me, Sabina Izuku. President Goodluck Jonathan has again urged all Nigerians to have faith in the competence of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The president, who spoke in Otueke after casting his vote at his polling unit, says he is confident in the ability of INEC to deliver a good election process of Nigeria and Nigerians. President Goodluck Jonathan says Nigerians should have the same faith as he has in INEC to deliver a good election devoid of rancor to all Nigerians. He also added that the perceived low turnout by voters in Bayelsa State is due to the fact that the governorship election is not being held in the state. And away from that, Vice President Nambadi Sambo on Saturday joined thousands of eligible voters in Kaduna State to elect a new governor and members of the State House of Assembly. But while voters turned out in the city centre was quite high, other parts of the state recorded a low turnout of voters. Amina Anebi has more on the process in this report and is presented from our studio.
Residents of Kaduna Metropolis were out in their numbers on Saturday for the governorship election. Vice President Sambo was one of the early callers at his Kabbalah Costain polling unit. After he had cast his ballot, he used the opportunity to speak for the first time at the March 28 presidential elections.
We have just casted our vote. We are looking forward to a very successful election for our party. So,
from the fillers, you have a safe.
Okay. From the filler, there is some low turnout, and we'll call upon people to come out and really cast their votes. Thank you.
So, what would you say is responsible for this low turnout compared to the last election?
Well, very difficult. I cannot say exactly why, but it happens like that, and so we still call on the good people of Kaduna State to come out and vote en masse.
Okay, let's tapping from your own experience. Tapping from your experience, what will you tell the contestants across the country after the election?
Yes, you know, we are always believing in the rule of law, and that this, as Muslims or Christians, there will always be one person that will be a winner. So whatever the outcome, Mr. President has given a very good example in line with the civility and rule of law. As you know, Mr. President has gone ahead to congratulate the president-elect. I have also, after that, called him and congratulated him, and also my colleague, the vice president-elect. We have spoken, congratulated him. So I expect that Mr. President has put another standard in the politics of Nigeria, politics of Africa, you know, in the sense of humility and the demonstration of what has happened in this election. And we are looking forward that this is a standard, a world-class standard that has been established by this administration. Nigeria should always be put first. And we are looking forward for all Nigerians to cooperate with the administration, and election comes and goes, but Nigeria remains. So all of us, we can contribute to the development of Nigeria either in or out of government. So if you lose an election, you should take cue from the standard that Mr. President had put in place, accept it in good faith, and Nigeria will move forward. Thank you very much.
This election had for several months been touted as the tightest governorship race in the state since 1999, and it was not surprising that the state had been tensed in the build-up to Saturday's election. Incumbent Governor Mokhtar Yero, who is seeking his first full term in the government house, is aware of this, which is why he wants the residents not to take laws into their hands after the results are announced.
Dear people of Kaduna State, let us try to see that we conduct this election peacefully, and then at the end of the day, when the winner is announced, I want to appeal to everybody to remain calm and take it as that is how God designed it to be. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Governor Yero's closest opponent, Nasir El-Rufai, for his part, is impressed with the conduct of the election. He was particularly glad that the card readers worked effectively during the accreditation process.
Also voted for the state assembly man representing my constituency, so I feel happy about it.
Okay, now what are your expectations from this voting exercise?
We expect success. We expect that, like me, the people of Kaduna State will vote for and we look forward to the challenges. We knew that there would be disruptions because we alerted the security agency that what we have not been, there have been well, and we commend them. This kind of process cannot go without any hitches. It's expected, but as long as the outcome would be free, fair, and correct.
With a relatively hitch-free process, Kaduna State was largely peaceful. There is, however, a massive security presence around the state to ensure that a peaceful atmosphere persists even after the outcome of the election is known.
The Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has commended Lagosians for coming out en masse to perform their civic responsibility at the gubernatorial and State House of Assembly polls. Our correspondent Branson Uwana monitored the process and has the report.
Most Lagos residents seem to be having hangover from the last presidential elections, following the low turnout of voters in some polling stations. While others participated in the voting process, to others it was an avenue to test their skills in football and hairdressing. Some voters, however, lauded the INEC for the speed in the election process.
Not at all, not at all. It didn't even take me up to a minute because immediately I gave them my card. They had to look through the register, saw my name, and they told me to thumbprint, which I did. And my data came on their system, and they just said that was okay. And a lot of people have been doing that too. We don't have any problem at this unit 007.
If you go through the record, here we have accredited over 257 as at this time. And for the fact that that has gone, by the time the voting proper starts, that's the only time you will know whether there was or there is a low turnout or not.
I'm impressed with the response of our people and so on. They were able to challenge them and they were able to tell them that this is a peaceful exercise. We don't want violence in any way and so on. In several places we visited, many of them actually they turned away when they saw us moving around and so on. So all in all, I think it's commendable thus far. And I think we should also commend our people, must commend the INEC officials and everybody.
Lagos State Governor Raji Fashola, who spent less than 2 minutes in the accreditation and voting, says the fact there is no long queues at the polling station does not imply voter apathy.
In those places where INEC was there on time, right? In those places, people may have accredited long before you and I came, and that perhaps what we were used to long queues that we did not see in those places, and I stress that word, in those places, because we don't know how widespread it is, right? If we didn't meet long queues, we are perhaps then disposed to jump into the conclusion that, oh, people didn't come out. When in fact, in those kind of places, they've come out, they've accredited themselves, and they got back.
With the results of election expected soon, it is only desirable that the result will reflect the wish of the voters. Branson Uwana, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, says he will accept his fate should he lose the elections. Speaking to newsmen after his vote at the Unit 33 Ward 5 Ekpe, he says democracy and the rule of law is the principal thing, and so anyone who wins will be the collective voice of Lagosians.
Of course, this is democracy, and then there's always a winner and there's a loser. What is important is to deepen democracy. And what's important is to let our people speak and then have their choice, and then respect their choice. Once we're able to do that, then we're on the way forward in the country. We respect each other, and then we respect our choices, and then we respect what the people say.
2015 governorship and House of Assembly election in Oyo State have been conducted in what has been adjudged fair and peaceful by most residents and politicians alike. Even though security threats occurred in some areas which got the prompt response of security operatives and the hitches of card readers experienced at few polling units, which was also promptly rectified, politicians have rated the performance of the electoral body in the state as impressive. As candidates and electors exercise their civic duties, top on their minds is the big question of who takes over the seat of Agodi and what the next 4 years will produce in Ibadan. But while elections results have not been officially announced on who emerges winner, stalwarts and candidates of the 5 major political parties who participated in the contest expressed confidence in winning the state, amidst stating their observations in the recently conducted elections.
If the elections go well, then we have no complaint. But as you see, the only thing that I can say is that people are now more vigilant. They are now more vigilant because last time we found in many places the vote counts were more than the accredited voters. So how did it happen?
I do not envisage any problem, but I must quickly let you know this, that as of now, we're already having apprehensions in some polling centers, not here. Because there are calls that some things have been done, or some motor boys are around some particular stations, which we have informed law enforcement agencies, like at Islamic Primary School Doye here. They just brought a bus there, and we're just sitting down, waiting for the results. By the grace of God, we are coming out triumph.
You also have to give credit to the law enforcement agents. I think they've been very fair to all. So in totality, I think we should be okay.
In SDP, we believe that each and every one of us has a lot to contribute to this country. We've done that with the little that God has given us. And I believe that if we have the wealth of this country at hand to be able to use to better the lot of the life of our people, SDP will do it.
I'm expecting that within the next 24 hours, I'll be declared the winner of this race as the newly re-elected governor of Oyo State, 2015 to 2019. That's my expectation.
Anything short?
Nothing short.
And what about the process?
I've always been a winner. Never lost a race.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo and his incumbent governor of Ogun State, Ibikunle Amosun, have both commended the electoral umpire INEC over the success of the 2015 general elections through the use of card readers. They made this assertion after casting their votes in their respective wards in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital.
Last time I had no problem.
What about this time?
This time I had no problem. You can see it didn't take me 1 minute. It just did the thing and put my finger, two finger, as our people call it, Ikailabe.
But the voting procedure and processes, I think they are okay. Yes, we can improve upon it.
Also, the governorship candidates of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Akin Odunsi, described the March 28 presidential election, which brought the General Muhammadu Buhari as the president-elect as runners, voting for the APC and its candidates.
More of the presidential election. Many people who voted on that day voted under the illusion that it was all about change or continuity. and it was the two dominant parties between APC and PDP. We didn't have anybody on the ballot as SDP. So many people voted in error for APC.
We'll take a short break, and when we return, CoreTV News on the Hour continues. To stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emotan of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical, women being so powerful yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back to the news. For more information, you can reach us on our social media platform, and that's on facebook.com/CoreTV News. On our Twitter handle, @CoreTV News NG. For news on other program, you can stream us live on youtube.com/CoreTV _ and the news. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose has lamented the pockets of electoral violence that was experienced at the House of Assembly in the state. Lamenting ballot snatching in the local governments in the state, Fayose says the act of brigandage is unhealthy for democracy.
Violence in election is not good. Whatever name we say, whatever interest we represent, we should take it easy. It's only God that enthrones. You can only get to where you want to get if only God approves of it. So my advice is that we should find a way around these lapses, security, beaches, and a lot of attitude of people on election day. It shouldn't be a do or die. It shouldn't be a do or die. That's my advice. Personally, I cannot comment on this election yet because I am in Afao. But snatching boxes and misbehaving on election days, it's not the best for this country.
Presidential elections where INEC officials arrived at most polling units in Imo State very late. And about 8:30 yesterday morning, they were already at most polling units across the state. The exercise was going on peacefully until armed youths came in to disturb the process in Olako Primary School, Emekuku, the hometown of Abga governorship candidate Emmanuel Ohenacho. Though not
seen some elements of compliance. We have also seen some areas where there seems to be some anarchy, which we intervened and restored normalcy. That's why the operation is without bounds. We can take off from any BRA where we get signal that all is normal to make sure that things are done according to the letter.
Making sure that everything goes planned. So it's going on here. It's confusion. Because if the materials are short, somebody signed for those materials. You signed for 300 instead of 350. If you signed in your office, why are you finding it difficult to also sign there that what I collected is 300 instead of 350? He refuses to sign. What you signed from your SPO. So, it appears suspicious and people are apprehensive. That's just the issue. That's the problem we have here.
The issue is that INEC has asked us to come here. I'm starting at a PO representing and displaying it. So INEC gave me 300 ballot papers for governor, 300 ballot papers for president. That's sheets.
The president of the
House of Assembly. Sorry. So when we get to this place, you understand? They now ask me how many registered voters do we have in the register. I told them that I have 600. They now ask me why do I have to come with 300 balance sheet. And I told them that it is the one that INEC gave me that I brought here with.
Meanwhile, at the Oji Owerri North Local Government, polling units 1001 and 1002, Was no election as voters turned violent, taking laws into their hands, tearing all ballot papers, saying they were not complete and there will be no election. Away from that, but for some pockets of violence in some polling units, the House of Assembly elections conducted in Osun State was largely peaceful. Osun State is one of the few states where only House of Assembly elections was held because the governorship election had earlier been held. Rashid reports that Governor Rafarik Bashala of Osun State, in company of his wife, Sherifat, voted at his Ifofin Ward 8 polling unit 4 in Ilesha. The election was largely peaceful except in Ijesha, Obokun local government, where violence was recorded at the early hours of Saturday, leaving one person injured with bullet wounds. Governor Rafarik Bashala, who was happy about the conduct of the electorate in the state, however, condemned the reported ballot snatching in Ife and Adawodi, as well as the shooting in Ilashe Ijesha.
I don't really understand why anybody would want to employ violence in an election. Election is meant to, one, determine the preferences of the people. And it's quite uncivilized and primitive for anyone to believe that coercion must be the base of that free expression of choice. It's such a shame.
A few people came out because of the confusion that trailed the incidents in the morning. You know, this community is an agrarian. Anywhere they hear the sound of gun, they move away. They run to their farms.
Some walls, yeah, where we have the fake police officers going about with no numbers, hillocks, hijacking the ballot paper and ballot boxes and INEC material. That was done in the Unit 6, Ward 2, that is Oja Tutu.
But the community are saying 3, but we have the security did not see the 3. We have seen only one person who had been taken to a government hospital. So that one is over.
5 officials of the Nigerian police under Ewekoro local government were involved in a ghastly auto crash along Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, popularly known as Old Road. They were on their way to Ifo when their vehicle, number NPF 8182C, swayed off the road to the opposite direction, which left 4 of them critically injured, including team leader DPO B.O. Bakare. At present, they are receiving treatment at the Ifo General Hospital. The news on the hour. Do join us at the top of the hour for the continuation of the 2015 general elections. I am Sabana Izoki. Thank you very much indeed for watching.